Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Plemons, and this is my presentation on a community resource that I think is very needed here in Roane County, and that is a community campus garden here on no other than Roane State's main campus here in Harriman. The Coalition of Community Gardens shares the inspiring sentiment that flowers grow in flower gardens, vegetables grow in vegetable gardens, and communities grow in community gardens. And I believe that Roane County really needs this to bloom and grow in our community. I grew up in Roane County gardening with my grandparents as a young child. They grew a garden every single year to provide fresh, healthy food for their family and make sure that they could eat it all year round. What they didn't eat during the season or give away to friends and neighbors, they preserved with canning and freezing. They also composted all of their kitchen and garden and yard scraps to turn into compost to use on the garden the next year. And I garden now for some of those same reasons. I like to know where my food comes from. I like to share the fruits of my labor with my friends and neighbors. And I think that Roane County would really benefit from having a large community garden on Roane State's campus for the same reasons. The three main benefits that I'm focusing on today that Roane County would receive from having a campus community garden are being able to feed families and reduce food insecurity for students. Food insecurity is where people can't consistently afford or attain fresh food. Roane County would also benefit by teaching students and volunteers life skills that are relevant to the workforce and also to everyday life. And largely, the community would benefit from cultivating community itself by building relationships between individuals, the schools, businesses, and local organizations. My community is a rural county just west of Knoxville that has a higher than average poverty rate compared to the national and state averages. We also have low health scores, and the Tennessee Department of Health shows that Roane County has climbed from a 15.5% child poverty rate to a 17% child poverty rate just in the last 2 years. Following up to that, even scarier, the United Way, which is the largest nonprofit organization in the country dedicated to improving the livelihoods of people in their communities, said that in 2017, 41% of Roane County residents were living below or near the poverty line. That situation is likely more dim now with the rising cost of living and stagnant wages. The first and possibly the largest benefit that Roane County would receive from having a campus community garden would be to feed people in need. According to the 2019 National College and University Basic Needs Insecurity Survey of 86,000 students, 60% of those students said that they had experienced food insecurity in the last 30 days. Not having reliable or affordable access to food is not a positive way to live or to be able to study. Hunger hurts the body and the brain, and we all need the healthy brain fuel for school. Being able to provide the Roane State Raider Pantry with fresh produce would benefit everybody in our community. Roane State's main campus here in Harriman is on over 138 acres, and the buildings only take up about 30,000 square feet. We definitely have the space here on campus to have a community garden, and it would be a great flagship garden for other local schools and community groups to learn how to start their own community gardens. Local campus garden that has been successful here in our area is the Pellissippi State Community College at their Hardin Valley campus. Pellissippi has a large garden that benefits their school pantry and the students and staff there. It was started back in 2016 with the help of one of my friends. They began with about 800 square feet of bed space, and that yielded approximately 1,200 pounds of produce. They utilize rainwater catchment systems, composting, and other permaculture initiatives, which is the use of the natural flow of nature to build better food systems for humans, and that is also used as a teaching garden at their school. The second main benefit that Roane County would receive from having a campus community garden is growing life skills. Food grows in gardens, but so do people. We can grow skills such as being responsible for our actions, organizing and planning garden plots and planting times, and managing our expectations and outcomes based on our input. We can also learn physical skills like soil improvement, running heavy equipment, and maintaining that equipment like tractors and tillers, and we can learn food preservation skills like canning and dehydrating. Benefit that I think Roane County would receive from having a campus community garden is cultivating community itself. Linda Tiener, who is the longtime professor and director of community outreach at the Kansas State University, states that a community garden will provide space for mentorship, social interaction among community members, and education for children on nutrition and biology, all of which are important for growing our community into a stronger entity. In summary, Roane County would benefit from having a community garden by feeding people in need, teaching and developing important life skills, and cultivating community as a whole. I hope that I have planted the seeds in your mind today for how this important resource would help our community blossom.